So this is the video you guys have been waiting for. All the news that I have on the release date, the game's current state, when do we think we're going to get the trailer, yada yada yada, right? That is what you guys have been waiting for, and that's what this video is. If you guys end up enjoying it, like, subscribe, do all that. If I can get 60,000 subscribers before Type Soul even releases, I'll do a giant giveaway, either Robux or in-game items, just depends when the game is out or when I end up reaching 60k. But yeah, subscribe, join my Discord, do all that, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I do talk about the screenshot later on inside the video, but I do want to cover it the very first thing. This is from the tester that showed all the medic stuff earlier today. Basically, he said, I only know an announcement that will probably be the trailer is dropping between the 20th and the 24th. And that's all he had to say. So keep that in mind. But SETRO does talk crazy about re-release and just a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. This is the video, man. So I had a full-blown conversation with SETRO yesterday. Basically about everything, you know. The release date, is the game going to be buggy? Patch notes, basically everything that you guys need to know. I tried to ask and get the information for you guys because let's be honest, they're not giving us any information. So I figured I just asked myself, right? So I was like, Type Soul, how are we feeling? Would you say that we're reverting to 2023 Type Soul because of the balancing and it just has more content? He said just wait for the update log. Honestly, SETRO, he doesn't want anything leaked. Nothing like that. He didn't want nothing to be leaked. He wasn't trying to give any information to you guys. We already knew this, so I wasn't very surprised about this response. I heard about the Tendo nerfs, and I was like July 2025 or like 2026, because at this current point, you're already almost halfway through July, and we don't even have the trailer yet. I was like, this should drop in July 31st or what? Let's like lock in. Then he says, and I quote, it can drop any day I want it to. I'm not trying to rush anything. So I pull out the image of Green saying that the game is buggy, because the last time I saw the game was Cooling Games, which was, what, yesterday, the day before? I saw YouTubers play the Cooling Games game mode. There was so many bugs inside the game. Even Green himself, a developer, said the game is buggy, right? So I said, are you sure? I said, is the trailer not done? Or are you just waiting for a perfect day to release? And then he said, you're basing the bugs off of a video. Like, what does this SF prove? I was like, we all watched the Soul Wars and Cooling Games gameplay. We saw the bugs. Obviously, they didn't have some bugs. But if you think it's good enough, we can drop it. He said, the bugs are fixed, so that's cool. Boom. That's the point of testing. I was like, yeah, like I said. But the game ain't out right now. For the love of the game, or are you guys just waiting for a perfect day? Then he goes, I already gave the month. We are in July. Like, if he said August, right? If he said August, I would understand. But we are in July. What do you mean I already gave the month? We're in said month. I said, if the game is ready and the player base is clearly hyped, what is the reason for you guys not to drop? You had your peak hype this weekend. Unless if you do more CC testing and let them promote more, then you guys won't be this hyped again. Now you're just dragging out the game and stuff like that for no reason. And then he says the game drops when it drops. Then being hyped doesn't make progression go any faster or slower. He just said it was ready to release. So, is it ready to release or not? Because you literally just said it's ready. But then I say that your peak time to release was this weekend. And then he said, we needed progress? You said the game was ready. He said, yeah, but I'm also not rushing. This is completely understandable. I want everyone to realize that I'm not saying that, yes, he's making sure that no bugs will appear last minute. He's not trying to rush everything. It's a big update, so I gotta make sure everything's okay. But at the same time, right, he's saying it's ready, and then he is also saying he has to make sure that everything's ready. So doesn't that mean that it's not ready? Like, if you guys did what I'm saying, like, if the game is not ready to be published in SETRO's mind, then don't say that it's ready. In my opinion, at least. I asked him, are you not satisfied with the current state of it, or do you just not like want to press the public button without making sure that it's ready? He said, ready can be mean many things. It's just as simple as I will release it whenever I feel like it. I said, I mean, yeah, obviously you'll release it whenever you feel like it, but people will start school, get off summer, do all this in about like 3 weeks. The average person that attends school will be off of summer in like 3-4 weeks, right? I said your peak week is this weekend. So whatever that ends up being, the 18th, the 19th, I said your peak week is this weekend to drop. End of the day, you know people are going to play the game either way, so I don't know if you tear in the first place. He said, I don't. So he does not care. That's why I said it will drop whenever I want. It's not about getting matched players or releasing at a good time. It's so the game can just come out and do well. If it was about money, the game would have already been out. And then I said, so it's about the game doing well, but not getting the match amount of players or at a good time for the actual players that are going to be playing the game. Because he wants the game to do well. But then he's also saying that he doesn't care if the players are going to go back to school or be off summer or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then he says, does a game need a max amount of players or a good peak to be a good game? Whatever, bro. I said, as long as it doesn't die after a month again, you're good. And then this was probably the craziest part. He said, I don't know. It could or it cannot. I don't care. Just making sure it doesn't need to close ever again. Then I was like, you said the game has 6 months of content. How would it die after a month? I don't determine what the player thinks. Just because I say the game is good doesn't mean I'm the people playing it. And then I was like, hey, bro. Hey, GG. This will be an interesting ass release. So, to summarize everything that he said, right? The game is completely ready. I don't know if we're waiting for the trailer or not. Well, no, that is what we're waiting for. If you guys don't remember, in announcements, SETRO said that the game will drop when it's ready and you guys will not be stuck waiting for a trailer. I think he said that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and now the game is ready and we're waiting for a trailer. So that's kind of interesting. And then the craziest part, now I don't know if it's SETRO lying to himself, lying to me, or just contradicting himself in every single way. But you're saying it's not about money. If it's not about money, then just drop right now if you think the game is ready. If you think the game is ready and you're confident in it, drop the game. Right? Like, okay? And let's all be completely honest. Even if it's not about money to SETRO, which let's be real, we all know that it is. For every other developer, every single person on that team, it's about the money. Chaotic doesn't even dev for the game. All he does is sit there and collect money. It's about the money at the end of the day. And then this was also interesting. Does a game need a max amount of players or a good peak? When you're referring to a peak of a game, you usually refer to their peak player count. So these kind of do go hand in hand. Like, I don't know if he's lying to himself or what. You guys can take whatever he's... Maybe I'm completely in the wrong and I'm just reading what he's saying wrong, or I'm just trying to look at it in the worst way possible. But from what I'm reading from him, it seems like he doesn't care about you guys going back to school soon. He doesn't care about the players. Because, let's keep in mind, the whole reason the game closes and reopens is so the players will have a better experience, right? That is the whole reason why the game closes and opens all over. That's why he does re-releases, right? But then he's saying he doesn't even know if the player base will like the additions. So what was the point of shutting down in the first place? But yeah, essentially, the game is done. The game's done. The game is ready to release. Maybe he's lying and the game's not actually done, because if you guys watched my last video, you guys know that most of the true modes aren't even done. according to the testers, and the game's unbalanced, and there's still bugs, and there's all this, all that. So maybe he's just lying and the game's not ready. But if the game is ready, then he contradicted himself in announcements where he said we wouldn't have to wait for a trailer to drop for the game to drop. If you guys get what I'm like getting at here, either way he's contradicting himself. And no matter what, he said I don't care about like 4 times. I said at the end of the day, you know the game is going to get players, so I don't even know if you care. He said I don't. So essentially, just because he knows the game will do well no matter what when the game comes out, right? He knows that he could probably delay it until August and you guys would still play the game because there's nothing else to play on Roblox. He doesn't care. He said it himself. He doesn't care. The game will drop whenever he feels like pressing the public button is when the game will drop, right? Now, I'm assuming they do have an actual release date because you guys can see this is what one of the testers said himself. I know an announcement and probably the trailer is dropping between the 20th and the 24th. Now, I feel like a lot of people could already make that assumption that the trailer was going to drop around the 20th, 21st, somewhere around there, and then we would get the game around the 25th, right? I feel like the average player could probably make that assumption that they were going to wait until the last weekend of the month. Now, that this video is dropping, I doubt that they would delay it anymore because I'm sure, well, you guys know the truth. You guys know the game's ready to drop, so I doubt he'll delay it any further. Maybe we'll get it this weekend, but more than likely that 20th to 24th release announcement, trailer, timing sounds about right. You guys, like I said, you guys can feel however you want inside the comment section down below. Maybe I'm taking this out of context, maybe I'm twisting his words, but I'm just saying it how I see it. He said he doesn't care. He said he doesn't know if you guys will even enjoy the update. He's gonna release whenever he wants it, no matter what the player count says, no matter what the player base wants, he's gonna release whenever he feels like it. So essentially, we're stuck in another Rune Slayer situation where the game's done, the game's ready, and they're just not dropping. Now, what I do want to mention is that if he is saying is the game is ready right now, right? Keep in mind, currently it's July 13th. If he is saying the game is ready right now, and the game drops in 2 weeks, and it's the 25th, and there is any bugs, any type of issues that the community has, or anything like that, if you're a mod watching this video, just remember these words because there is a 99.999% chance you will have to instantly lock down that general chat if there is a singular issue with the game and you're delaying it on purpose. So we'll see. We'll see. You guys can feel free to leave your own thoughts inside the comment section down below. At the end of the day, I'm simply giving you guys the news, right? I can't force him to release. I'm just telling you guys what he told me. So, we'll see what ends up happening. But that's it for me. If you guys ended up enjoying the video, like, subscribe. My current goal is 60,000 subscribers. If we can get that, I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll do a giant giveaway. Join my Discord. And yeah, either way, man, we're going to be locked in for Type Soul. I'll have a bunch of videos out. Probably going to be posting like 4 videos a day when the game actually comes out. Hellverse guides, Fullbringer guides, prod videos, PvP videos, all of that. Even though I'm banned, hey, the 200 alt accounts are waiting for me. So, either way, I'm going to be on this game. And you guys can feel free to leave your own thoughts inside the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.